What up, fellas? Gang, gang.
What up,
UFC 280 right around the corner. Let's go.
It's 288.
Oh. Well, this is gonna be like UFC 280. We'll do that again. What's up, gang? UFC 288 right around the corner. Let's fucking go. Funkin' go. What's up, fellas?
You look great, man. You don't make that hole. Now you don't make fun of the guy. High five.
There'll be no streams.
Second round in the playoffs, baby. It's only right. It's only right, baby. This is an Aljamain Sterling official jersey. AljamainSterling.com representing the New York Knicks. Second round in the playoffs, baby. Second round in the playoffs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it to the best bantamweight on the planet. Let's go, LG! Let's go, baby! Yeah, baby. I'm gonna cook my phone.
This is a huge moment in history, not just for myself, but for all of Long Island. I think this is the first time we actually had, we had 3 champs, but first time a champ actually gets to defend the belt on the East Coast, pretty much at home. I haven't been able to fight in New York since my amateur days for whatever reason. So this is as close as it gets. I used to fight on the regional circuit in New Jersey a ton. I fought in Cage Fury, I fought at Ring Combat. I used to be kind of a nomad because New York MMA was still illegal. So this for me is a very special moment because it's not very often you get to defend a world title at home like this. So I appreciate everybody for coming out and let's get this shit. If you guys got any questions, the floor is yours. I like that. I truly do think the first round is going to be a probably a good IQ of a chess match. He's a very smart dude. I don't know if you guys seen that he has a YouTube channel that he constantly talks about. So he does a good job of breaking down fights, being a good analyst. So I think the first round is going to be a feeling out process. But I think after I touch him up a couple of times, make him wrestle a bit, that second round, the finish is going to come when he starts to feel the pressure, starts to make mistakes. So I think second round, I know I'm going to say TKO this time and then end up getting a submission, but I would like to punch this guy's lights out. So second round TKO. I feel there's a couple of things. I want to test his spirit to want to be in the cage to fight. And if he's just doing it for the paycheck good. It's always nice to make a good payout for fighting for a title. But I think when the tough gets going, you're gonna find an easy way to get out. So my job is just to show him the door and pat him on his little ass and tell him to go home to his wife. That's it. In my eyes, I still look at Dominic Cruz as that guy, if we're just talking straight up stats as a champ. But I get this done. I think it's going to be a tough debate, you know, whether you want to consider the modern day MMA more valid than the olden ages. But, you know, stats are stats. Records are meant to be broken, and we'll see what happens after this. I'll let the fans decide on that. For me, I'm comfortable in my own skin, so whether I'm first, second, life's good, man. This is just to be a part of that conversation is a blessing, you know, so I just thank God for that. This is a surreal moment for me, you know. We don't do too many of these. It's not every day you get these big, gigantic fights. So just seeing that Long Island's in tune and in tap with what's going on is a blessing. It's cool, man. So I appreciate this. And like I said, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come out to this. And it's on a Friday night, you know what I mean? So I know you guys could be out at happy hour getting lit right now, which I would like to do too. So as soon as this fight's over, you guys will probably catch me at RVC, Johnny McGorry's. And if you see me, come say what's up. But this is cool for everybody showing up, man. Like I said, I truly do appreciate that. And hopefully we get the job done again, and we get another time to do this on the East Coast, this time in New York City or Long Island. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not really looking that far ahead. I mean, it's good to just kind of think about it. Maybe O'Malley, maybe 145. We'll see how this weight cut goes. We'll see how the fight goes, and we'll just see what's on the table, the way everything shakes out with the bantamweight division, especially we got a big one this weekend. I just watch all the fights. I try to break them down as best as I can. And we'll see what happens. One fight at a time, man. You start looking ahead, bad things start to happen. Challenging is going to be the entry. I think other than that, once I get a hold of him, it's going to be like everybody else. He sprawls the same way everybody else sprawls. There's no significant difference in the way you sprawl from Olympic medalist to national champion. I've wrestled some of the best guys in the world, and I'm pretty confident in my wrestling ability. It's not a wrestling match. He's got to grapple, he's got to clinch, he's got to watch out for elbows, he's got to watch out for knees. Easy knees that I step up, and they're coming right to his chin. The guy is... You know, he's a tough competitor, but at the same time, we're all human, we make mistakes. And if he makes a mistake, he's gonna be sleeping and looking at the lights. So he can talk about his wrestling as much as he wants. I hope he's ready to put it around my neck on May 6th. I think my range, once I put my weight on him, he's gonna feel a difference. And it's not like I'm 160 pounds in the cage. He'll probably be heavier than I am, 100%. But it's the way that I put my pressure, the way I get on top. I get wrist control. He's a freestyle wrestler, I'm a folk style wrestler, and I think that's the difference. When I throw these boots in, man, he's not going to go anywhere. He's going to realize the pressure that everyone else was talking about. So it's one thing to sit there and talk. I think he's trying to play mental warfare. I think he'd rather strike. I know he doesn't want to grapple, and that's why I'm going to test him in that realm. Because at the end of the day, why fight to his strengths when I can fight to my abilities and make it as easy of a payday as I could possibly make it? There's no easy fights, but I think my range is going to play a big difference. When I bust up his nose with that jab, eventually he'll start to pressure forward and give me an opportunity to take him down, and we'll see what happens after that. See how good that wrestling gold medal is in the octagon. It was just have some fun. I didn't think I was gonna fight Cejudo. He was just kind of that guy on the sideline, like, yeah, you accomplished a lot of good things, but you took yourself out of competition for a reason. And I think he was kind of afraid of taking a fight and a challenge on a full camp's notice. Not the Dominic Cruz, taking it on 5 weeks, 5.5 week notice. The TJ Dillashaw with him coming down to 125 for the first time since he was probably in high school. You know what I mean? So there's, as much as there are question marks that people want to make up, I can't control what happens in the ring other than what I do in there and who the UFC puts in front of me. And if I beat them, I beat them. Same thing for him. So with that being said, now that he's back in the testing pool, now that he's back, signed a contract, we're 1 week away, there's no more of this sideline talking shit. You got to actually step in there and answer for your words. There's a lot of people that I felt like he was being very disrespectful to in his breakdowns and things like that. It's one of those guys that feels like, to me, it comes off as arrogant, and there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, and I think he toes that line on the arrogant side, and I think he could do things a little bit more tastefully to his peer fighters, you know. People think that fighters don't have like emotions and things like that. We do. We're just like everybody else. There's no difference between us. So for me, this is not just a win for me. This is a fight for the community, and just to smack him up so that he can shut the fuck up for once and just contemplate going back to retirement. That's the main goal for me. So I didn't think it was going to be a fight, but now it is. So let's go. Yeah. I just watch his old fights. I think it's very hard to change your tendencies. That karate bullshit he's gonna do. In order to hit me, you have to get inside. You see what I'm saying? So he's gonna have to make a conscious decision if he wants to get inside of the javelin or not. And once he does that, it allows me to tie him up. So there's not much tape on him of late, but the stuff he posts on his channel, I watch, man. I'm a student of the game. I watch everything that I can watch, and I like where I stand with everything. I think the activity is gonna play a part. I think he's been drinking the whole time. I like to test that liver of his and see how he's doing, maybe puke up in the octagon. So I got a whole bunch of things brewing up top that my team and I thought about and things like that. So it's a lot of unknowns. I just hope when people see the way that I dispatch this guy, they don't try to say he was a guy coming off the couch in 3 years. He's still one of the best in the world, and I'm treating him as such. Let me get my man right here. And then, it's huge, man. Shout out to Leon for that. And that was one of those tough fights because I'm a big fan of Usman as well. So it was like one of those, man, may the best man win. But it's definitely huge for UFC Jamaica if that ever does happen. This would be a very big part in maybe having something like that actually happen. And I think it'd be really cool just to kind of jumpstart MMA really down there. They have MMA, but just to get more people to kind of open up and maybe want to start like kind of like how they have a Bali MMA or Tiger Muay Thai, a destination gym. I think it'd be cool to go to Jamaica, hang out, and at the same time get some high-level training. So for me, this is a very big part of that, and not just for New York, but just for all my fellow Caribbean fellows that come here to Long Island and things like that. So just gotta go out there and get the job done, man, by any means necessary.
Let's search that man still.
And still. No training. He was just showing Marab how he likes his level changes. That's really what he said. He's like, I like your style. I like your style. You're here, you're here, you're here. Really cool dude. I know he gets a bad rap from time to time, but for the most part, he's been pretty chill whenever I've seen him. I met him in Poland the first time a couple years ago, and out at the right before Marab's fight. So it was cool that he came over to us just to say hello and just take a second out of his day filming The Ultimate Fighter to talk with us and to give Marab some encouragement and things like that. So for me, it's all good, man. I like the guy. To me, I think Henry's gonna be the toughest dude I ever faced because he does have that wrestling background. And I'm not ignoring it. I just think he would rather me getting my own head to be defensively, I guess, nervous about shooting. And I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna shoot 100 times if I gotta shoot 100 times. That means you gotta defend it 100 times. I just need him to take one slip, one false step, and I'm on his back, and that fight is as good as over. So I think this will be the toughest test, but I think my grappling compared to a lot of these guys is just a different level, and that's my humble opinion. I'm not trying to be cocky about it. This is just what I see in the room, what I see in the results, and hopefully I get to show it again on May 6th. I think I got the striking advantage as well. He says I'm not a dangerous fight, but I think he's hoping that when he starts to throw that I'm gonna either like cover up and back down kind of thing. Pedro Munoz tried to do the same thing. Jimmy Rivera tried to do the same thing. Cody Stamen, and eventually these guys get broken, So we're gonna find out, man. It's 7 days away. Not too many days to go out there and put it all on the line again and see who's number one. Yeah, we'll see how this fight goes first. See how I get it done, and then we can make those decisions. Right now, I just want to focus on the job, getting my hand raised, making history, and really just want to retire this guy again, man. It'd be nice to have 2 back-to-back retirement fights. Send these guys back to the trenches. Yeah, I would say so, but it's more so just for the good work. It's not like I'm actively planning these things. The one with Juan Archuleta, we planned that 2 days before we actually went out to California to go train. But everything else has been a small group, the way I kind of like to do it. I get my guys that push me through these rounds, and that's been the recipe for success since, 2016, I want to say. Actually, 2017. I had a rough patch in 2016 as well, so. But I think that's been the recipe for success. Small group with people you trust, doing the right work, and making sure you're really focused on your opponent and not just doing a wide variety of things. You do that outside of the fight. In camp, you want to be focusing on the things that you think should help you get your hand raised. I think O'Malley's good. I'm not really thinking about him right now. If I had to give a quick assessment, I think I put my hands around him and I fold him like a lawn chair. I really do. You can't be that tall for the weight class and be strong as well. You might have some leverage in some positions, but you got to compensate somewhere, and I think it's going to be the lack of strength. The same way Corey Sandhagen, he's a good striker. You get your hands around him, fold that guy in half, take him down, and do whatever you want. I don't even know who controls those rankings, so it don't bother me. It's like, it's a people's opinion, you know? At the end of the day, as long as that check clears, I'm good with that, you know? This is prize fighting, like not prize of public opinion, you know? At the end of the day, we get in there, we win, we get paid. That's how I make my living, the same way everybody else makes their money going to work. This is me going to work, and what people want to decide to do for the rankings, that's completely up to them. As long as that check clears, I'm a happy man. So if I move up in the rankings, that's cool too, but it's not something I actively look at, kind of thing. We'll take like 2 more, and then we can do a couple photos if you guys want. Anybody else, or should we get the photos going right now? I think this camp has been challenging in both ways. For the most part, when you're doing 5-round sparring sessions and you got Merab coming in rounds 1 and 2, you got Pumi or you got JP coming in rounds 3 and 4, and then you got a fresh guy like Merab coming back in for round 5. You push yourself, man. You truly do see where you want to be. There's moments in that sparring session where you get taken down and you want to just take a break and be like, okay, I did enough. I just want to have a sip of water and sit down for a few seconds, and then we can go again. But it's the same thing like a fight. You got to challenge yourself. You got to push yourself and see how far you're willing to go mentally. And from a physical standpoint, you know you're in shape, but from the mental standpoint, being able to focus for 25 minutes, it's a tough task, you know? Especially when you know the other person, you got to start all over again after putting in all that work for the first few rounds. So we did a lot of things like that, switching partners every halfway through the round, doing 8 rounds of rolling or positional training. So I think we left no stones unturned. I don't know if you guys have been following the vlogs at all, but we've been doing some boxing in the cage, cutting this into 4 sectors, small, close quarter boxing. So I'm forced to use my hands. I know a lot of people think I can't strike. I think people are going to be in for a big treat for this one, so I'm looking forward to it. So I think we left no stones unturned, and we're just going to have it, may the best man win on May 6th. And still. I think the impact was just something that I always wanted to do since a younger athlete, you know? So it was cool to kind of see how he does things and how he trains. He jumped into my training session to like show me some stuff, but at the same time, he was letting me lead what we were going to do. And it was cool to see how he moves and how he does things and seeing where I can capitalize on some things or steal some knowledge from him. There were some cool things that he pointed out that I thought worked really well for my style. And some other things that I got to see firsthand where it's kind of like, okay, so if there was ever a competition, not like I'm like gunning to fight him, but if there was ever a matchup, I can see why he gets away with some of the things that he does because of the tricks and things that he's been doing over the past few years. Damn, I don't know. There's a couple good guys, some guys untested, but there's a couple of hammers, I think. I mean, you got Ricky Simone, I think he's a dark horse. Sandhagen's up there, and then you got Umar Nurmagomedov. I think he's a tough out for a lot of people. Anyone who's got a good grappling background, I think, can make a threat and a run for the title. But for the most part, man, 1 through 15, 1 through 20, this bantamweight division, I think personally is the hottest because there's the most guys in the win streaks, most guys fighting each other, not the same guys in the top 5, top 10 that we've seen for the past 5 years. There's new faces all the time. That just means how competitive our division is. So to be at the top of the throne, man, it's crazy. So sometimes I don't even believe it. And to have 2 guys from the same gym is even crazier, man. Like whoever does anything like that doesn't happen in everyday life. So this is a blessing, man. Like I feel like we're both just living our dreams, and one more time into the fire, and let's go out there and get it done. I'm gonna go with Ricky just because of the wrestling. I think that's gonna be the neutralizer for that one. I think he's a better wrestler than Corey Sandhagen, and I think that's gonna make all the difference. As long as he doesn't get pieced up on the feet, he should win that. He should. It's cool, man. The bantamweight division, I think, is the most fun division. I remember people never gave a shit about the smaller guys, and then they realized, like, oh, these smaller guys can actually fight, you know? There's some pretty bad little dudes out there. So I think it's cool that we're kind of pioneering. I don't want to say pioneering, but we're kind of directing a lot of these main events and things like that. You see Merab main eventing. This is my first main event back-to-back with Merab. You got a couple of these other guys, Song Yadong, Corey Sandhagen, main eventing a lot. So I think the UFC trusts us. I think they trust that the fans are seeing what the bantamweights, the featherweights, and even the flyweights can do, man. some of those fights with Brandon Moreno, like those are classic fights that will go down in history forever, you know? So it's cool to be on top of that mountain right now. And I just want to keep the gravy train going, you know? So go out there May 6th and put on a show and remind the world why this is still the best division out there. With that said, if you guys want to take some photos, thank you guys again. We'll take some pictures. We should do like one big shot. If we can, let's try to take one big shot and then I'll take some individuals with you guys. And on 3. Let's go on 3. On 3 and still. 1, 2, 3, and still, baby, let's go. Fuck Henry.